Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So last Monday's video actually was going over a couple mods that I was considering on doing. I went over them in detail, just kind of explaining my thought process, why I was thinking of doing these modifications. It's funny, a week later, I already have made quite a few decisions and I already have a bunch of stuff on the way. So instead of making you guys wait, instead of making you guys guess and everything, I'm going to actually update you on what's coming, what we're installing, and why I decided on that specific modification. So if you didn't get a chance to check out that video, I went over 4 different modifications as I mentioned, but I'm going to run down the list for you real quick just so you guys get an understanding of what I was considering and then what I ended up with. The first one was changing up the exhaust. The second one was actually refreshing the suspension with some new Fortune Auto coilovers. The third one was actually getting some carbon seat backs for my Recaro Sportster GTs. And then the fourth one was a carbon roof. Now it was pretty obvious, everybody was asking me to do the carbon roof, but I'm gonna go into more of an explanation as to why I didn't choose that, at least for right now, because I just started doing a lot of research on it and everything, and I do think it's gonna happen, but not right at this time. So let's go over what I actually purchased and what is currently on the way and what should actually be here this week. First thing, yes, I did purchase a new exhaust. Yes, I did sell the Tomei, and the exhaust that I chose was the ETS Extreme Catback. This exhaust is an extremely requested exhaust. Everybody was asking me to pick it up and try it out and do videos on it. What I ended up picking up was the, as I mentioned, ETS Extreme. I got the resonated mid-pipe, which I highly recommend if you are equal length headers. And then I got the muffler delete, so there's no muffler. So the only thing that is actually going to quiet it down a little bit and actually tame down the rasp is the resonated mid-pipe, which like I said, I highly recommend that. Very, very similar setup to my AWE track setup, which I loved. I love the sound of that, but we all know as to why I ended up changing away from AWE. But I love the sound of it. So as long as the fitment and everything works out with that exhaust, I really, really think I'm going to like it. Now we all know there's a few different exhaust tip options in terms of coloring. I end up going with the blue tips. If I ever want to change it, I certainly can. I was looking at the black tips that ETS does offer, and I really do like them, but it was about a month out if I was going to get the black tips. So I figured, let me get the blue one, since obviously titanium, it matches the car very well with everything that I have going on in terms of titanium. And if I ever wanted to change out the tips later down the road, I could. So I'd rather get the exhaust now, try it out. And then if I really didn't want the blue tips, I can always just change over to the black ones or even the stainless or the chrome ones down the line. So yes, there will be more exhaust videos. There's going to be install, my initial impression. There's going to be a full exhaust video, flybys, revving, in cabin, all that, what I normally do with all my exhaust videos. Really looking forward to that. The reason why I chose ETS over anything else like the NVIDIA R400, which a lot of people have asked me to do as well, is because of the joint connection, you know, where every piece meets up. It's actually V-bands, which is my absolute favorite type of connection on any exhaust or any part in general. It completely eliminates the chances of leaks and everything. I can't stand blown gaskets. I can't stand normal gasket flanges. It's just more bolts to do. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. Plus there's way more adjustment to get the exhaust sitting exactly where you want it with V-band or slip joint, since you can kind of adjust everything. You can kind of turn it whichever way you need it, and then clamp it down where it's best, and then kind of go from there. So yes, the ETS Extreme Catback is on the way. It actually should be here this week, early this week. So there will be plenty of videos on that. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to go into a big reason as to why I decided to change over, but I will let you guys know I ended up missing the quad tip look. So that is a big reason as to why I'm going to a different exhaust now. The second thing that we actually talked about was updating the suspension. I have been running the Fortune Auto Gen 500 coilovers for over 30,000 miles now. Still amazing, still love them, no issues. I have Swift 7K springs on these. They have been fantastic, but since the car is just so perfectly done, there's really not many miles and everything. So the only thing that was, I wouldn't say older, but that I haven't touched in a long time is the suspension. Now, like I said, the current coilovers that are on the car right now are fantastic. There's no issues. But the reason why I wanted to switch over, or at least upgrade them and do a little bit of a refresh, is because I wanted to bump up to a different spring and spring rate. When I got these coilovers, this was a daily driver, so I was more focused on keeping the car as comfortable as possible. So like I said, I went the 7K Swift spring, so it's a little bit softer, but it still handles phenomenally. But this time around, I did get an upgraded set of Fortune Auto suspension. I'm working directly with Fortune Auto, which is fantastic. And I do have a discount code for you guys as well. You guys can use SubiFreak86 at checkout and you get 5% off, which is a decent amount when you're spending on coilovers. So if you guys are interested in picking up a set, highly recommend it. Use SubiFreak86 at checkout for 5% off. But I did upgrade to Hyperco 8K springs. So I went up to a little bit firmer spring, and I also got the Gen 8s, which is the newest and greatest coilover from Fortune Auto. So I'm getting their latest technology with literally the best springs in the market. So I got Fortune Auto 500s Gen 8s with the Hyperco 8K springs. I was thinking about going to the 510s. The 510s are geared a little bit more towards, tracking the car, which I don't do with this one. Obviously, I have loved to go to the 510s, but it was one of those things that I was like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I've been so happy with the 500 series and kind of going up into spring rate. I don't want to go with something totally different, different series, different everything, that it was going to completely change the way the car handles and feels, because right now the car handles and feels fantastic. So I figured going up to 8K and a different spring, the Hypercos, it would give me a little bit more performance, but still keep the car comfortable enough to drive on the street and not be overbearing and just annoying to drive. So yes, new Fortune Auto coilovers coming. There is a little bit of lead time with those, since it does take some time for them to build them, since they do hand build them. So it is going to be a couple weeks for those. So that will be a future video, but that is on the way. They are purchased and everything is ready to go. And yes, if anybody's interested, the current coilovers that I have on here are sold. Somebody did purchase them very, very quickly. At that, I put them up on my Instagram and someone snagged them super quick. So no, they're not for sale. They're already purchased. But yes, I'm really looking forward to those videos. I'm going to be able to kind of show you the whole entire process, how to dial everything in, how to do preload, how to set the height, exactly the way that I do it, and then eventually getting the alignment and everything. I'll be going to my shop, RT Tuning, to get the alignment. So I'm really, really looking forward to dialing in the suspension even more. I love the way it sits, but I do want to make some adjustments in terms of the height, and kind of get everything absolutely perfect. So yes, brand new coilovers are coming. Another thing that I'm actually changing up on the car that I didn't mention in the previous video, and that is actually changing up the diffuser. Now, the one that I'm running is by Carbon Creations. I did a video on it. I love it. It looks great, but I have been really, really interested in getting something a little bit more geared towards performance. Now, the one that I got is actually by SubiSpeed. It's the OLM half carbon diffuser. It's pretty much a Varus replica, and it's absolutely beautiful. The whole front of it, it's carbon. The back part is not, which is nice, so it doesn't get all beat up and everything. But it is a full diffuser. It's not some crazy hair clipper one or anything that I'm really not a big fan of. It doesn't jut out or anything crazy. But it comes across the whole entire bottom, goes under the exhaust and everything. I've always wanted to get that, but I never could with the Tomei, since that diffuser never fit. Now that I have the ETS on the way and that it does fit with that diffuser, I decided to pick it up. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to really kind of make the rear end a little bit more aggressive. Everything looks beautiful from the sides and everything, but when you kind of get around to this area, it kind of bumps up too high and it looks a little goofy in my opinion. So getting something that's kind of level it out with this bottom part here, I think is going to look really nice. So I'm really looking forward to that. That should be a really fun install and should really update the rear end of this car. Okay, so I got some interior mods as well. Some minor things, but they are on the way. You guys know that I just switched over to this carbon fiber iDoing head unit trim around here. One thing that was always bothering me, but it bothers me even more since I did this, was these buttons. As you can see, these are matte black. It does look really nice, but everything in here is a gloss. So all the carbon and everything is a gloss. These are actually the OEM dials that I painted about 4 years ago, actually. They used to be silver. Hated it. Pop them right off. They come off like this. You just pull them off, really simple. But As you can see right here, these are matte black. I got the gloss black one, so it's going to blend in very, very nicely. And I think it's going to complete the interior and look really, really good. So I picked those up. It's an OEM option, so it's not some aftermarket or anything. It's gonna, it's gonna be exactly the same, but these are gonna be gloss black. So I'll be doing a video on the install of that as well. A lot of people do this modification, but it's very, very minor. But overall, makes a big impact on the interior, and I think it's gonna look really, really good. And lastly, for the interior, I picked up an Overland Designs armrest. This is the stock OEM one. All the other Alcantara with the red stitch is from Overland Designs. So everything down here on the A-pillars here, the cluster, everything that you see Alcantara in the car pretty much is by Overland Designs. This is the stock one. It does look nice, but the real Alcantara that Overland Design uses is black. It is much richer looking. It looks much better in my opinion. And the OEM Alcantara, or the suede that they use, it kind of has a bluish hue to it. So you can kind of tell right here. So I ended up picking up the Overland Designs one. Same exact thing as this, has the red stitch, but it's just going to match everything else that much better. So again, a very, very minor mod, but it's going to complete the interior and make it look that much better. All right, so that is the update. That is what's to come. Those are videos that I'm really looking forward to doing. Let's go over real quick as to why I didn't do the other two options. First and foremost, the carbon seat backs. I am definitely doing those, but these are a few things that I really wanted to get done first. I really wanted to update the suspension. I really wanted to do the exhaust. The carbon seat backs obviously serve no performance or cosmetic upgrade on the exterior. A lot of people were saying don't even do them since it's on the interior. You won't even see them. They're behind you and everything. I do agree to a certain extent, but I definitely want to do them. I think it's going to look really, really awesome. So I'm probably going to end up doing them next month. But there will be a video on that very, very soon. But I wanted to get the other things done as I mentioned. So carbon seat backs on the Recaros coming soon. And last but not least, the most requested modification that everybody was telling me to do, and that is the carbon roof. Now, I definitely want to do this. There's no question. I think it will look amazing. I think it would really, really kind of take this car to the next level. I have put so much attention to detail in this thing that doing a real carbon roof would just completely set it apart. Yes, I know the S209, the Type RA do come with a carbon roof, but I don't see many people do it on, just a basic STI. So I think that would be really, really cool. A lot of people were telling me not to go with the Sibon one, to go with a company called Marsh Composites. And the reason why it is a little bit cheaper is because it doesn't come with a clear coat, which I'm totally fine with. And the reason why I don't mind that is because I would have a body shop installing it and they would clear it anyway, because it really does take some body work to do it correctly, since you do need to remove the glass on the front and the rear and do a lot of tack welding and everything and get it situated in the right place, since you are risking the integrity of the car, the overall body structure, and you don't want to screw it up. So either way, I'd be having a body shop do it. But I definitely think I'm good with the Marsh Composites one. It looks really, really nice, and I don't have to worry about a sunroof since I don't have a sunroof. But the reason why I'm not doing it right now is because there is going to be some serious downtime with that install. It would probably end up being 2 weeks, and then it would probably end up taking a month just with the way things go in body shops these days. And I don't want to leave the car for a month in the summer. I think you guys would totally agree with me that giving the car away and letting the body shop get that work done for a month, I would really lose out on some prime driving weather, basically the car season. And I don't want to do that right now. So my plan right now is to do that over winter. I don't drive the car much at all in the winter, if at all. Honestly, once it really starts getting below 40 degrees, I clean the car, get it ready, and I put it on the car cover, and I don't touch it until like March or April once it starts warming up a little bit. So I think that is probably the best plan to go about the carbon roof. Yes, I definitely want to do it. Yes, I definitely think I'm going to do it. It's just I think the downtime is what's making me hesitant at first, at least for right now. And also it's a pretty expensive thing to do. So it'll give me some time to save up, and it'll give me some time to do some research, to find some body shops to do it, who know how to do it. But definitely looking at it, and I think that's going to be awesome once the time does come. So there you go. There is the update. That is everything coming. I believe there may be more. I may have forgotten, but I think that is the gist of it. At least that is the majority, the big stuff that I'm going to be doing videos on. If there is anything else coming that I may have forgotten that I ordered, I will let you guys know. Obviously, I'll put in a video and everything. But like I said, that is the big stuff. That is the stuff that I'm really excited for what's to come for this car. And I'm looking forward to doing those videos and kind of updating you guys on the next phase of this car. Now, I understand we're not outside. I understand we're not in a different location and we are in the garage, which you guys are pretty familiar with. The reason for that is because this weekend was nuts with it being 4th of July weekend and just being with the family and tons of stuff going on. And usually on the weekends, I try my best to focus on just family and not do car stuff. So that is why we're in the garage. I do apologize, but we are going to be getting out of the garage once again. I've been trying my best to get out, drive the car more, doing videos outside. I know you guys enjoy that a little bit more since this environment here does get a little repetitive, and I do hear you guys. I do listen to the comments and everything, and I'm doing my best to get out of this garage as much as possible. But that is it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the little update. I don't like to hide anything from you guys. I like to keep you in the loop of exactly what's going on, what I'm doing to the car. I don't like to really do surprises or anything like that. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am about all the new modifications. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be some cosmetic updates. It's going to be some performance updates. I'm just really looking forward to everything and to really dial this car in even more and make it that much more special. So if you guys have any questions at all, be sure to ask them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.